Let's go. Hey up everyone, it's me, Steph, the alternate, your nerdy alternative, continuing with this week's takeover of Popcorn Planet, whilst Annie Signor is sunning it up in Las Vegas. And guess who I've got with me? It is Lewis Lecker, aka Nerd Report, aka my fave. How you doing, Lewis?
Hey, I'm doing great. I want to thank you and Andy for having me here as a co-host. And yeah, anytime I'm here, I'm having a great time. That's it.
It's what we do here. We have fun when we stream. It's all Gucci. You guys should know from the other night what that means. But before we head into the main topic of the day, as you're watching this video, if you like what's coming out of this gentleman's gob, then make sure you go over to his channel, Nerd Report. You'll get a hell of a lot more from him from there because it's literally his channel. And if you love what's going to come out of my gob, then make sure you also head over to my channel, Steph the Alternate. Daily true crime stories served with a little bit of gob and sassiness. Basically this. However, the main topic of the day. Now that Jussie Smollett has been released, which is insane. Like, I'm absolutely amazed. Some of the comments from last night's video that I dropped from the breaking news, a lot of it was, do you know what? The green dollar bill will get you anything. It'll get you out if you've got enough green dollar bills. And it's just, I'm still flabbergasted even now that this has happened. But what's now kind of in the water a little bit is now that Jussie Smollett is free, could his actual conviction be overturned? Could it be removed? Now, we do have some exclusive statements from Mr. Christopher Melcher that I will be reading out later on. But Lewis, just, first thoughts on that. What do you think? Do you think his conviction will be overturned?
You know what? It doesn't matter what I think, honestly. What matters is let's just make a complete joke out of it and overturn it. Just go all the way. If you're gonna do something, just like go all the way. If you're gonna throw a punch, make sure you're hitting through your target. Overturn the whole thing. As a matter of fact, get a DeLorean, go back in time, don't even mention it. Or better yet, give what was it, Chicago? Give him $1 million for his trouble out of the taxpayers' money. When he sues, he could say he sued for X amount and he's suing the city of Chicago, and then all the dummies will be like, he sued Chicago, and little do they know, when he sues Chicago, that's suing you because that's where tax monies go. To the people of Chicago, when you pay taxes, goes to the city of Chicago. They're probably going to get sued. Just go the entire way. Bring them back on Empire. Why do this? Make him the president of Fox Network, where Empire is broadcasted from. Just go all the way. Why not? Right, Steph? If you're going to do one thing funny, make the entire thing funny. Why not?
Why not, right? Yeah. Well, with that being said, speaking of Fox, the headline crew got this from Fox News. So they got some legal experts to weigh in after a panel of 3 appellate judges ruled 2-1 in favor of releasing him. So what have they said? Now, the legal experts have basically turned around and said that potentially it could be a great sign. Now, according to one criminal defense attorney, whilst Smollett's celebrity status hurt him in his trial and the subsequent sentencing handed down by Judge James Lane, the decision to free him pending his appeal was a great sign for the embattled singer and performer after he was recently sentenced. Now, do you think, first and foremost, that his celebrity status actually hurt him?
Hurt him?
Yeah.
No. I made a video after this happened or during. I was confused as hell. But do you honestly think any of us or anyone in the comments, like if this happened to them, we'd be like getting one phone call a day or whatever it is? We'd be in jail right now. Period. We get the 5 years maximum. So no, I don't think the celebrity helped them. Do you honestly think that if you do a minor crime, Samuel Jackson's gonna write a letter for you in a court? No, it's not gonna happen. Now, here's another question. I hate to say this. Do you think Samuel Jackson even knows what the case is about? I don't know. I don't think so. You think he just, I don't know. Do you think he sat there and read it? I don't know. I'm just a guy asking questions, and I'm telling you right now, overturn the entire thing, reward Jussie, give him $1 million, make him the president of Fox Channel, whatever distributes Empire, make him the main producer of Empire, go all the way, make a joke out of the entire thing, put a smile on it, like the Joker would say. It's all Gotham City anyways. It's Chicago. Gotham City is Chicago. Pretty fitting.
Yeah. Well, now that he's free, it's like freaking paint by numbers. You can literally predict what's going to happen next, and you're probably going to be right. So Smollett's defense attorney, Nenye Uche, is seeking to file an appeal of the verdict to get it overturned. Of course, he says that they're very happy with the ruling made by the Illinois District Appellate Court. We're pleased that sensationalism and politics will be put aside and we can finally have an intellectual discussion. Although, to be fair, the one anything intellectual about is freaking outburst at the end of sentencing, but that's just by the by. About our laws with our esteemed appellate court. Yeah, because the appellate court's giving you exactly what you want, so of course you're going to say it's esteemed. Now, this is the thing, and this is the kicker. 3 years ago, Jussie and the state of Illinois reached a deferred prosecution agreement in which he paid a $10,000 fine and performed community service. As a result, the case was dismissed. To be recharged and prosecuted for the exact same thing a second time is not just morally wrong, but certainly double jeopardy and thus unconstitutional, especially as it concerns an innocent man. Now, just to read one of Mr. Christopher Melcher's statements that we've got, does that argument sound familiar? Because I tell you something, it is. Why? Mr. Melcher says this, quote, "Is making a Cosby defense that a deal had been reached with the DA to settle. The judge found that Jussie didn't accept the proposal by the DA, but Jussie says that he did. I haven't examined the fact closely, but it could be successful for him like it was for Cosby." So, for me, right, it turns around to, well, hang on a minute. Why did he pay the $10,000 right at the beginning then in the first place? Was that part of this agreement that Jussie says that he agreed to, but then the other side saying no, he didn't? Lewis, your thoughts before we continue?
Paid the $10,000 to get it straight. He paid the $10,000 for this case.
Yeah,
That's what they're clinging on to, and that's what his lawyer. Or there was like, what does he have? Like 4 lawyers. That's what they're clinging on to, and you know what? The law is full of loopholes, especially if you have a lot of green, right? So that's what I heard them repeating over and over again. What are my thoughts? Maybe a loophole in the law. I'm telling you, he's going to get out with nothing and then sue the taxpayers of Chicago for our trouble, for their trouble.
yeah.
That's what's going to happen. That's my thoughts.
Well, continuing. There's belief now from this panel of lawyers that Fox had consulted that Smollett's lawyers might have a point, and that the 3-judge panel might have felt similarly. as the justice system should take only the law and the Constitution into account. So, the one aspect that really, really sticks out for me as far as appeals go is the special prosecution. I mean, it's almost unheard of. One of, Fox's lawyers that they spoke to explained of the appointment of the special prosecutor Webb. Smollett had a deal. He took the deal. He met his part. He had a contract with the prosecution to do community service, and he forfeited his $10,000 bond, and in return they gave him a diversionary deal, and once he finished his community service and forfeited this bond, this case was dismissed. The same counts. So now it's a case of, well, hang on a minute, has there been a legal error with it all? So, furthermore, West Coast Trial Lawyers President Naima Ramani, and hopefully I've pronounced that right, apologies if I haven't, pronunciation's never my best mate, who is also an uninvolved spectator, so no to do with it whatsoever, right? Relayed to Fox News that for the 3-panel committee to come back with a ruling releasing the actor from jail, there has to be a clear legal error, allegedly on the part of Judge Lynn or the prosecutors that pointed to a reason for Smollett's release. Ramani explained there were a lot of people unhappy at Kim Fox, and there's a lot of confusion surrounding this deal from Fox that Smollett agreed to but did not officially plead to in signing. Ramani said, Smollett didn't take a plea, that's why it's a weird issue. He didn't take a plea, Fox said. Listen, forfeit your bond, and if you agree to do some community service, I'm going to dismiss. So that's why it's a weird legal issue. So there was no, plea submitted in regards to this potential, deal, whether it existed or not. Fox just turned round and said, right, forfeit your $10,000 bond, do a bit of community service, and do you know what? My opinion, conspiracy theory, whatever. I'll just wipe it under the rug. Just swipe it under the rug. Nothing to see here. You don't plead. It's done and dusted. It's as if it never happened. Now, the question is, did that deal actually take place or not? And so this is where, from what Christopher Melcher says, they're now going down this Cosby route, this Cosby argument, because something similar happened to Cosby as well. A deal was struck, everything was supposed to go away, but instead they took him to court. Double jeopardy then comes into play. Big major legal error. We've got double jeopardy over here as well. Same thing, right? So it's frustrating to think that he's been found guilty in a court of law amongst his own peers, guilty of faking this crime, and yet he's going to get away on a technicality. That is literally what we're looking at here, potentially. Lewis, thoughts before we continue, mate?
100% right. He's going to get away with a technicality. That's why he has how many lawyers does he have? I counted 4 people constantly rereading, looking at every move, everything, every bit of history to exploit it. And they all found one. They found a way of exploiting it, and to show that they got, reason why they got a double jeopardy case here. So yeah, what more can I say? Even if it was a mistake, Steph, if he's found guilty of something, what does that have to do with the case? If someone's found guilty and someone forgot to cross a T or dot an I, they still should be a punishment if someone's guilty of something. You shouldn't throw it away because, someone made a mistake somewhere or whatnot. But again, this wouldn't happen unless you had super rich people or super powerful people backing him up through tweets and stuff like that. Right?
Yeah, right. But this continues. So, asked point blank if he believes Smollett now has a decent case of getting his conviction overturned based on his team's Fifth Amendment argument, Romani agreed simply it's based on the decision from the appellate judges. But he says, yes, it's a good case. And we know it's a good case because he's already got 2 out of 3 justices who are saying that he should be released on bond. And his sentence should be stayed while this appeals process is being heard. So he's got a very good legal argument for getting his conviction overturned. Now, we got to stop right here because last night it was said in the news that he got out because the appeals process was going to take either the same amount of time or potentially longer than him being incarcerated, him being behind bars. So he was going to be released because the appeals process was going to take just as much time of him being behind bars, if not longer, right? And somehow that's unconstitutional or something along those lines, right? So I asked Mr. Melcher, look, if that's the case, wouldn't they just be like, right, you've been found guilty and you've been sentenced. What we're going to do to solve that problem is speed up the appeals process. So your appeal gets heard quicker, right? And this is what he said. He says, that's true for most defendants. An appeal takes about 2 years. It's not a reason to let someone out. The Court of Appeal should only intervene if it appears the trial court made a legal error and there's a reasonable chance that Jussie might win an appeal. So now we're going full circle and we're going back to what we've just been discussing 2 moments ago, which is this whole double jeopardy situation. If he took the deal, then that whole trial that he had after that apparently was not supposed to have happened legally at all. And
Lawsuits.
again, a guilty person is gonna potentially now get off on a technicality. And this lawyer that they've consulted, Fox have consulted an outside lawyer, has turned around and said, look, he's got a good case because he's already persuaded 2 out of the 3 appellate judges to be like, do you know what? He's got a leg to stand on here, let him out. So he's already got them on his side. So when he comes back and he's like, dudes, these are the reasons why that court hearing shouldn't have taken place in the first place. Basically reconfirming their decision to let him out early, but with a lot more information and a lot more evidence. You think they're going to be changing their mind anytime soon? What do you think, Lewis?
No, things are, look, Steph, it's going to get thrown out. Like I said, there's not more, but the writing's on the wall from what you're reading. It's going to get thrown out. They know it. They were extremely giddy during the press conference. Why? Ka-ching, the sound of money. There's going to be a counter lawsuit. Like you said, they're saying that the trial shouldn't have happened. That's what they're probably going to hold on to. He's going to get rewarded at the end. I don't know if anyone is a fan of Jussie anymore. That's going to be, we got to wait and see. I'm sure there's a cult members that are going to be following him and believing everything he says. But yeah, one more. Gotham City, Chicago.
Yeah. Well, in regards to this whole double jeopardy situation, on the side of the prosecutors, the article states, Romani maintained that he understands the proverbial grey area the case straddles and added that the prosecution was more than fair in raising the fact that Smollett hadn't signed any plea agreement. Thus, double jeopardy shouldn't apply. So, from the prosecutor's perspective, it's a case of, well, there wasn't anything in writing. So, what are you chatting about? The trial judge said Smollett didn't plead. He wasn't punished. So the jeopardy never attached. But what I think the appellate judges are going to say is that by making him forfeit his bond, what I said earlier on, that's considered the punishment. Jeopardy attaches and you can't charge him again. So it comes back to then what I said earlier. Well, hang on a minute. He paid this $10,000 bond. This $10,000 payment. For what? Right? And then that's something that the Chicago City Police have to answer. They've got to be very careful because whatever they answer, could potentially hinge on Jussie freaking getting his conviction overturned.
And money from a lawsuit.
And money. Yeah.
Big time.
Because if the conviction's overturned, does that then mean that the whole punishment's overturned? It's not only just the jail, because that's gone now, right? He's out. But the 120,000 that he was told to pay in restitution costs to the Chicago police force, and the extra $25,000 fine. Does that all wave bye-bye that he doesn't have to pay for it? Because of this legal technicality, right? And so the lawyer that, again, they consulted that has nothing to do with the case, it's an outside lawyer, said this one was very sort of non-standard. Normally the deals aren't in exchange for forfeiting your bond. So it's a very atypical case. And I think that's why the trial judge, Lynn, said jeopardy didn't attach because Smollett never came in here and pled in my courtroom with a plea agreement and all the things that are normally involved with the dismissal. So my opinion, conspiracy theory, whatever, is that Kim Foxx was trying to be way too clever and really try and keep everything under the rug, everything under the table. The so-called agreement, if it exists, the payment, everything, to try and proper sweep it under the rug so it could be quickly forgotten and done and dusted. Thing is, though, and that's my opinion, conspiracy theory, whatever, that might now bite freaking justice on its backside. Because that decision may have freaking tanked this whole thing. And a person that was found guilty of faking this crime, disgusting, despicable, is now going to walk free because of a technicality and potentially get his whole freaking conviction overturned because of a technicality. Not that because he's innocent that he gets overturned. There's a technicality. Which makes my blood boil even more, guys. Lewis, what are your final thoughts before we end this video?
Same as in the beginning of the video. Go all the way. Dismiss the entire thing. Give him $1 million. Give him his own empire show, and just go all the way. If you're gonna do something dumb, I say just go for it. Make a joke out of the entire thing. You know what I mean? What else is there to say? 5 days after the 5-month conviction.
It's insane.
Yeah,
it's 6 days. But either way,
he stayed 6 days.
Yeah, 6 days. Not even a week was he in jail, and he walked free. He walked free. But with that being said, that's the end of this particular video. If you haven't done so already, support Popcorn Planet. The ways that you can do so. Firstly, why not subscribe? Hit that notification bell to all so you're notified every time Andy uploads a video goes live. Like, leave a comment down below. And if you want to go one step further, why not join today and become a Popcorn Planeteer? You can choose your levels. You could even go next level if you really want to. You get exclusive content from Andy and more. But with that being said, you guys, that is the end of this particular video. Everyone that's watching, please stand by. We are still going to continue with this live stream, but for everyone else, laters.